Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's Sacred Stones messages and guidance. The three crystals that came through this week in terms of energy that can be supportive for people and guidance that can also be supportive of people was pink tourmaline, black tourmaline, and blue tourmaline. Just got this little baby piece because I'm still unpacking all of my crystals, but trust me when I say tourmalines, big or small, pack a wallop. They're very, very powerful crystals, very electric in their energy, in their flow, in their potency, really very high frequency and exceptionally healing. So first I'll be working with the pink tourmaline in quartz, lots of quartz there, amplifying those frequencies. And part of what the message from the pink tourmaline is coming through is it's saying, the way to open up the way, to open up the path, to open up the guidance that certain people are seeking right now. Again, it's this infinity loop. It's about really kind of I want to say connecting, but the word that's coming to is committing to the cycle, committing to the understanding that everything is, in energetic nature, everything is pervasive, everything is continual, connecting, constantly interacting, interrelating, interaffecting, and really coming back into this search for, or this alignment of universal truth, and knowing that the highest frequency that we know of at this time that we can connect with potently is that love frequency, and allowing that to be a healing balm, a healing ointment, a healing vessel, if you will, that guides us through what I'm seeing is this next bend, this next turn, and what that means in terms of what's happening with us socially, collectively, individually, internally, through this round this bend, round this next turn. And coming to because it's such a broad concept, right? Really, like love is the highest frequency, love is the thing, love is the way. We can say these things and it sticks there in our mind, and it's like, that's great. But it's when things drop down into embodiment that true shift happens. And especially for those of you who may be facing internal struggle right now, internal resistance, internal blame, internal shame, internal healing of these darker places, which we're being called to, whether we wish to or not, whether we seek to resist it or not. The moon still rises, the moon still pulls the tides. We are being pulled into this internal conversation of deep healing. And also reactivation of love is what's coming through, this really palpable thing that we can connect to, that we can understand, that we can feel. So one of the first ways through is to definitely work with the heart chakra, work with any pink crystal you have. They all resonate with the heart chakra on different levels, and you probably have the exact pink crystal that you need at this time for your healing process. Though certainly if you have pink tourmaline, you can wear pink tourmaline. I'm also being shown lithium quartz, and also nirvana quartz as other options. But first, just coming to that palpable place of what is that feeling of love, like really connecting with it, just even in your personal circumstance, your personal story. And this bit of guidance coming through, if you're not able to connect with that, then that's where you begin in terms of your healing process. That's lighting the way right there. But connecting with that feeling and starting to move through that feeling, deepening into the feeling. For those of you who have known true love in any of its forms, really deepening, going deeper into that feeling, really embodying that feeling, that energy, and allowing that to become more of who you are, and then allowing that to show the way. And this is not something that we can conceptualize or even understand through the mind, but it's coming into that and letting that energy that we build and amplify within, letting that start to trigger the healing and start to change choices, empowering actions, letting that start to become our greater touchstone of embodiment in this next while, just even as a morning practice, sitting down and just taking like a few minutes to, okay, that feeling of love, whatever it could be. It could be for your puppy dog. It could be for, whatever it is, your child, someone, your beloved, but really connecting with that feeling and coming into that reconnect and trusting in that cycle of energy, that as you connect with that energy, it moves and it begins to connect with other things. And then also, of course, comes back to you. So that's the message. That's the message from pink tourmaline. And now coming to black tourmaline, and this, of course, is, this is a really different frequency. This immediately, I always feel the energy of black tourmaline, shoot up through my energy field. It's like that energy force field, and I'm seeing like lines of energy all around me. It's kind of like that, that image in the Matrix where they saw those lines of code. What I see is I see lines of energy, and I see that coming all around. And this is about neutralizing, repelling lower harmful frequencies, coming into greater alignment within ourselves, but also creating, what it's showing me is it's creating a buffer zone for a lot of people who are having trouble right now. Because there's so much noise. And of course, the mainstream narrative, in the media is so controlled. And so being able to create that buffer zone against the noise, because, all of the media energy, like even if you're not turning on your television or looking at things on your phone or, whatever it might be, all that energy is still moving all around us, with, 4G, 5G, electromagnetic frequencies, radio frequencies, like all these energies that are always flowing around us. It can still feel like it's really hard to block out the noise and come into a place of inner silence, and this is definitely also what's coming through from the black tourmaline consciousness. This is also a conversation about discernment, because it's a reminder from the black tourmaline consciousness and frequency that black tourmaline repels lower frequencies, it raises higher frequencies. So there's that discernment. It's not just like all energy that comes in contact with its energy field is just boinged back. It's those lower frequencies that are too dense, that are too heavy, that are too dark, that cannot meet that frequency, and so they have to go. But the higher, lighter, less dense frequencies, those faster vibrations are able to come through. So black tourmaline, its message is about discernment, getting blocking out the noise, coming really centered and quiet inside the self, and trusting the voice of the self so that you can connect with your truth. You can connect with your own inner power. You can connect with the narrative that feels right and true to you, the discourse that feels right and true to you, so that you can embody from and act from that place. But it requires that deep listening, and again, the blocking out of the noise. So for all of you who are feeling that, especially this week, wear black tourmaline. You can sleep with black tourmaline at night. You can place it under your pillow. You can wear it over your heart chakra, so the heart's natural electromagnetic frequency, because at an atomic level, we're constantly generating these fields, right? Electromagnetic fields. So allow the heart's electromagnetic field, to carry that energy out around you. It amplifies crystal energy when it's over that heart area. Wear it over so that you can start to create that kind of buffer zone, that level of discernment, so that you can start to really listen to yourself, as we're connected, right? You know, the fibers of the universe. This was something that Nikola Tesla talked about, the fibers, you know, that are inside of us, that connect us with universe, with instinct, with knowledge that is far greater than what we feel we have in the mind. And really coming, so it's like coming into the universal mind that is within. And that's the invitation, that's the guidance and invitation from Black Tourmaline. And then we come to little baby Blue Tourmaline. I love this little baby though, because he's so powerful. This is from my crystal healing kit. This is why this is so small, because I would place this on the throat chakra, because of course you don't want to be putting big heavy crystals like that on someone's throat. Blue Tourmaline, also known as Indicolite. And this is different. Of course, it's smaller, and generally smaller crystals emit the frequencies aren't as potent, right? As larger, generally. But what's interesting is it's actually brought me into that conversation that Black Tourmaline was inviting in terms of coming inside. Like, I just felt like, you know, before when I was out here and I was feeling this energy in my energy field, now all of a sudden I'm very inside, in my inner self, in my inner space, dropped, boom, right away down into my soul center. So any of my pro crystal healer students who are watching this right now, you know, as we're going through our centering training in module 2, and for those of you who are grads, here's a crystal that if any of you struggle with that, this drops you right away into that inner soul self, into that place of inner knowledge, inner wisdom, inner conversation. This is a crystal that is so much about listening and listening to spirit that's within. And, you know, we say in spirit that's, you know, without, outside of ourselves, but of course there is no inside and out, really, in an energy conversation. Everything is the word interpermeable, wants to come through. And so this is about coming into that quiet, about coming deeply into the intuition, into the soul, into the connection of universal consciousness and knowledge. And I feel like I'm, you know, getting this vision. I feel like it's in space. It's like this core ball of energy in space, which again reminds me of something that Nikola Tesla wrote about. So there's some stuff that's being downloaded right now from his consciousness, still remaining somewhere in the universe, or guidance maybe for those of you who are sort of perking up at that to take a look at his work and his writings. But anyway, so coming into this universal place of knowledge, and they're saying so much of this is about truth right now, what we're going through. Finding truth, risking and trusting our inner truth, as opposed to the misguidance that's been outside of us for so long. This is very much about disruption. But disruption from a place of coming into your own unquestionable truth, and that truth, that universal truth. And this message of when the light shines on the truth, there's nowhere for lies to hide. There's nowhere for things to hide. And this is what we're coming to now. Seeing what we haven't been able to see, or refuse to see, or weren't allowed to see. And really staying in that conversation. It's an inner conversation, but of course there's outer listening as well, because there are many voices right now crying out that need to be heard. But always, you know, it begins within. The change starts to happen within, true change. You know, that again, coming back to that truth. So this is about finding truth, finding your truth, especially for those of you who feel a little lost on your path right now, who are seeking out guidance. We tend to look for sources outside of ourselves, coaches, trainers, teachers, intuitives, psychics, healers, And they can all be, enormously helpful. But at the end of the day, it's coming into that seed that grows into your own inner rose, that is your spirit, that is your truth, that is your passion, that ignites your soul. So it's coming into that deep listening. And with that, I came back again. So that's the reading. That's the reading for this week. Sacred Stone Messages and Medicine. So, if you have any of those crystals in your collection, definitely consider working with them. If you don't, trust what you intuitively feel guided to work with as an alternative in terms of your own crystals. Trust and listen to your own truth.